Hello everybody, it's Demon Sword. Pardon, it's really windy out here right now, but I wanted to show that we did get our whetstone cutlery. Whetstone. This is a pretty fair whetstone. There's an end on it. Goodbye, little end. Be free. So this is the harder grit up here. This is the 1400. This is basically a whetstone. The typical one you can get, rather cheap. Then there's that ant again. Am I covered in ants? Sorry, I was doing some spring cleaning, trying to clean up out here so I could do this. Now, I'm trying to make sure you guys can see it. It came like this from Amazon. Not really much to it. So we just got a typical board right here. Brick. Usually what you want to do is just keep it to be stable so it won't go away. It won't slip, slide while you're doing stuff. It shouldn't do it. We're going to use our cheap katana. So I know a few of you. This is the one I actually cut from one of the videos originally. And yes, I do keep them. I don't care if I touch it. I have my fingers. It's stainless steel. It's not worth anything. The basic motion is you want to keep it along the blade and do this. Very slowly up and down. Now if you had like a low little knife, you do these little circle kind of method, do this. That's something you could do. But basically I don't really do that. This is a $10 katana. Don't even worry about it. I just grabbed it to test this. I didn't want to, waste my other swords in case this stuff wasn't good. So let's see how it works. Now, I pour water on it because it's a whetstone, meaning you have to have water. But overall, it seems to be fine. What'll happen is you build up a slurry. Again, don't worry, this is not a real sword. This is just a cheapo one that is used for testing. Now, see, you just do a very faint thing. Now look, it already kind of wore down really quick in certain areas. Kind of bad since this isn't really that strong. But what basically happens, you want to keep it a little wet, so you can either use the other method that Smiths uses. They'll just kind of do this, slow some water on, let it seep in. But you just do this and you just work up the edge. Count how many you do at one spot and then move up. Count how many you do up and move up. And what will happen is it'll build up a slurry along the edge here. Kind of like here, it's on your hands, fingers, it won't do anything. This is bubbling. I don't know what to make of that. Nowhere else is it bubbling to some lettering. Interesting. So, I mean, it's not a very hard concept. You just come from back. And see, it starts to already grind. That black stuff is me grinding away metal. And what I'll try to also do sometimes is, if it's a really dull blade, you can apply some water along the blade. You don't have to really worry about rust, because you're not going to do this for very long. If your sword is kind of minorly sharp, but if your sword is dull, it can take some time. I wouldn't recommend it. So you could do this method, which is just drawing back the blade. Now for tips, that's a little harder. You want to do a curve, so I don't know if I show that very right. If you want to curve into it. See, that's already starting to get nervous. It's actually kind of nice. Not that strong, but that shit. You can just re-wet it. Touch, touch. So, a rocking motion. Very typical. This is usually the hardest part to do because you have to basically sit at an angle and do this. you see it's starting to edge it just a little bit. Not very much. It leaves a nice trail on the blade. If I can get you guys to see that. But there's kind of a slurry along the edge. That slurry basically helps lube it while grinding away at the blade. So, what you would do after that method, after you've done this for maybe 20 minutes, I would say minimum, on both edges, do about 10 one side, 10 the other. Take a piece of paper, test it, or stick it, whatever you guys want to test it with. Flip it over, take it, pour it under water, and this is our fine grit. This is kind of like for polishing. Yep, see? Nice and smooth, actually. But it's only a 1000 grit. If you were doing a polish for a katana, like if you had a rusted katana, as some of my subscribers have said, you know, I have this really good sword, you would need to get a 4000, 6000 grit and do this, but basically take it up to the blade itself like this. Do this, and you basically just want to work out scratches you would get from, say, the rust. So say like, can do this. Run across. And it's a feel thing. It's not something you can do with your eyes. You have to feel it grinding away. And if you feel that a spot starts to get too rough, you want to move on. It's kind of vibrates through the blade, so I usually keep one hand on it. It's kind of my cheat, as you would think. But overall, this is a nice little stone. Looks up a nice little polish. Nice little slurry. $20, I believe it was. Maybe cheaper. Demon sword out. Going or not. I hope this helps you guys.